Welcome to Steps Gaming. This is Kristen Steps with a new video, one I've wanted to do for a very long time. It's to speak about my experiences, both going to as well as working at the Blockbuster Video owned arcade / adult fun zone. This was geared towards adults 18 to 45. I had one of my early on jobs working at this place, both while it was owned by Blockbuster Video and also after they sold it to Discovery Zone. And then also after that, I think Discovery Zone sold it to a private group before it eventually closed. So I want to talk about how awesome this place was, why it failed, as well as give you some of my crazy experiences and crazy stories working at this place. I had a lot of them. So let's get down to business here, and I'll bring this up, right? So first off, this was the entryway to Block Party. Originally, the purple right here was blue. The same blue that's in the logo in the upper left screen, whereas Block Party, you can see the logo is identical, but when they got sold, Discovery Zone changed the colors so that they wouldn't look like Blockbuster at all. You know, the logo in the upper left, I actually redid exactly like it originally was, because I have the stuff that I could do that. But the original Block Party logo there had the Blockbuster logo next to Party, and you could see that empty area right there where it was, and why the wording is way off center and it looks bad. It's because that Blockbuster Entertainment logo is not there. And again, that area right here is purple. This was all blue. So it definitely had Blockbuster vibes, you know, going to this place. And so once you got it, oh, well, actually, I was going to show you this. This is the layout of the land. You can see the original sign there, just like I told you it was with the Blockbuster logo there. You would walk inside, and then the arcade part obviously is on the right there, and then there's some other zones and things I'm going to talk to you about here as we go through this. And this is the way it looked like from above. We got Entryway. Right over here was where you had the buy your card, your preloaded card for the games and the rides and all that kind of stuff. And then over here was your, this area here is where you kind of claimed your tickets that you would get loaded on your card. And they had cool stuff. And then we got, over here was the adult McDonald's Playland. I'll wait till I get into that and the stories I got going through there. We got the restaurant. This gray area up here is kind of like restaurant, kitchen area. We got back here, we have the private party. This is the moving theater. I'll have to talk about that. And then obviously we have the arcade and stuff here. I think that's it for this section, so I'll close that off. Go back here. Oh, sorry. We'll go to folder 2 is where I wanted to go. This is the entryway. So there's where the ticket booth is. It was called Infomania. And you would load your card there or buy a ticket for the movie theater and stuff like that. And then obviously here on the left, sorry, is the where you claim stuff. And so what's some of the cool stuff they had in there? Like, since it was for like adults, they had it. I just remember the very best prize to me, the one that was kind of unattainable, that it didn't have any. Like, you didn't have any way to get that many points, was an Atari Jaguar. Yeah, this is how long ago this was. Like, Atari Jaguar was considered, like, the really cool, like, untouchable thing. It was kind of, you know, expensive. It was 64-bit. It was kind of before Nintendo 64, I think, if I remember correctly. But that was, like, the coolest thing they had in there. And I think they had, like, jackets and, you know, same stupid stuff they have even for kids sometimes, you know, where you get something stupid. You know, like an eraser or like a finger trap or something. You know, it was kind of cool, and it had that fire station vibe to it. And then up above there, you could see there's a fire hose, and I think there was like a dog in there. I don't know, maybe it was a person, but it was kind of cool. And then oh yeah, there's the ticket booth. I remember coming to this ticket booth. Like, we had this one employee I remember I went there. I may not have worked there at the time, or I might have been in between the couple times. I worked there like 2 or 3 times. There was a girl that worked here that she had a male friend, not like a date, but I think he was homosexual. So I remember I saw an episode of Ricky Lake on TV, and it was her and her friend, and one of their parents was trying to get them together, and I just remember watching it, like laughing so hard because I knew the guy was not interested in her. Anyway, so I come in here with my friends. We're gonna hang out for the day. And I look at her and I go, I saw you on Ricky Lake last night. And she goes, please don't talk about that. Please don't talk about that. And I'm like, well, you're the idiot that went on Ricky Lake. So anyway. So let's close that off. And then I'll go back here. I keep hitting the wrong thing. Okay, folder 3. Folder 3 here. Oh, this is the power grid. So the power grid was the name that they used for the adult McDonald's Playland, right? So it's called the power grid. It has really cool light up sign with some of those electricity balls at the top. Like, it was really cool looking. And somewhere in here, I'll see if I can find it. There's the sign. This is after they closed. Somebody like went into the place. I found this picture of the top part of the sign. It was neon. It lit up. I think in here, where is it? Right here, you can see the sign. It's being lit. It's being lit up right there behind these people playing DDR. So it was a cool sign. There's the layout there. You can see it's kind of covered up with these black like boxes, so it's kind of hard to see in there. But you would crawl through all these tubes, and there were slides and a ball pit and like all that stuff. And it wasn't for kids; it was for adults. So it was a little bit bigger. And I remember before I worked there, I went with my friend Brian, and we're in there, and he's like, I want to crawl through this tube, and I thought, this smells like shit. So like he's gonna crawl through this tube, and I'm like, dude, I'm not crawling through that tube. There's no way I'm doing that. And so the next thing you know, he comes out and there's like brown stuff all over him, and I'm just laughing so hard. And there was like really nasty stuff in here. So a McDonald's Playland for adults is a really bad idea, because you know what you find in there? You find like condoms in the tubes you're crawling through, or in the ball pit. There was a nail at the bottom of the ball pit once some girl like stepped through when she jumped into the ball pit. Like, this was not the place to go, and it was a bad idea. So I gotta say, Blockbuster Entertainment, that was a bad idea. Again, I already went over that. This is kind of, you could tell they're taking it apart. This is when, after closure, I think Indie DDR went in here. Their website had a lot of pictures of block parties, thankfully, so I was able to go see. But like, you could tell that's part of the tube you would crawl through. There was tubes that connected to it. You could tell this is kind of like the after effect, like they just started trashing the place after it closed. It looks bad. And let's see, I think that was it. Yeah, oh, there's more of it. Yeah, it was a cool idea, a really cool idea, but it wasn't a good one, you know. When you look at it on paper, you're like, oh, that's a cool idea. People like, adults like to have fun too. But then you need to think about what are teenagers that are probably going to come here gonna do, or young adults like in their 20s. I mean, who's gonna go to this place, Block Party? And you think it's gonna be a lot of 40-year-olds? No, they'll come, they'll have a good time, they'll get a drink and play an arcade game. And obviously that concept's proving successful now with all these barcades. But yeah, this was a bad idea. Okay. So I'll close that out. We'll go back. We'll go to number 4. So number 4 is the Go Motion Theater. And so you can see here it has like a marquee, like you're going to the theater. I spent a lot of time working in here. Like, I ran the Go Motion picture. And so like, if you've ever been on Star Tours at Disney World or Disneyland, it's a lot like that. You would have a movie, and the seat would move with the movie, right? And so, in here somewhere, yeah, there's the seats. And these are the exact seats we had. They might have been red instead, but they were the same as this. and you would buckle your seatbelt, you sit with one other person, and the seat would move while the movie was going, and it was really cool, really fun. I mean, obviously back then that was something that was even cooler than it would be now. Let's see. Okay, this is just the description of it. 18-seat facility, rocks, tilts, and rolls to the movie like Disney Star Tours. It talks about Dino Island and a RoboCop being 6-minute movies, 6 to 5 minute movies, or 6 5-minute movies, whatever. This is the layout of the theater. So your seat's there in the middle, and then there would be a podium. There was a podium up here, and I would stand at the podium, and I'd be in charge of starting the movie. And I remember reading, like, I had it memorized. It was like, please buckle your seatbelt. Blah blah blah, and, you know, wait until the ride stops, you know, that kind of stuff, you know. And I remember doing that. And so one weekend I'm working, it's Indy 500 weekend, and so we're in the middle of a movie. I can't remember which of the 5 movies it was, but like somebody comes in. This is the entryway over here on the left. Somebody comes in through the exit on the right here. And comes right in front of the screen, and he goes, hey y'all, I want to see one of these moving picture shows. And I'm like, this dude's drunk off his ass, and I'm like, I had to escort the guy out and had the ride running, and it was just not good, not good. So, I mean, that's what happens. If you don't know much about Indy 500, it's just, there's no race. It's just drunk people. It's like, how many people could get the drunkest is basically what the Indy 500 is. And then, oh, this is some movies that we had. There was a Pensacola Wings of Gold movie. I remember specifically. That was one of my favorites, actually. I really liked that one. And then Dino Island, that was a really common one. And then what I wanted to show here is this is kind of an example movie. This is real short. This is Dino Island 2, which we also had. And it's a sample, so I'm going to play this real quick, just to kind of give you the idea. It was made by iWerks.
Emergency broadcast. Please remain seated. We have received reports of extreme seismic activity on Dino Island and are attempting to transmit images from the South Pacific now. For your safety, please put on your special protective glasses. Stephanie, this is Tom in New York. Can you read me?
Yes, Tom. Just barely. The island is breaking apart, and the dinosaurs are...
Stephanie? Stephanie!
This is just so bad it's good, right? You got the 3D dinosaur coming in on you, swarms of insects coming. You can see, like, where the seat would move. And then, coming up. It's one of the parts I remember the most. It's like, there's this lava, and this went on for like forever. You're going through the lava like most of this movie. It looks like it's very short in this edit, but like, anyway, you guys get the point. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it, and oh man, I just, working in the moving picture theater was was really a pretty good time. And then I remember we had a roller coaster one. That one was pretty good too. Just lots of memories working in that theater. And then let's see, what do we got in 5? Oh, this is like my arcade memories of working in the arcade. So let's see. So these are just arcades. Here's the arcade layout. So you can see here on the far right of the building after you enter, there's the pinball area with the Flippers logo. You can see on the left side of my screen. And then here's the arcade and skee ball and basketball hoops and air hockey and whatever, you know. But anyway, let's go back to here. Now this is one of the ones that was like in the main hallway. This wasn't even in the main arcade. And this picture wasn't taken from there, but I remember it, so I got a picture of it. The Harley Davidson, we had 2 of them that you would race each other or, you know, work together. The Sega Harley Davidson ride, that was a kind of a marquee title. That was pretty cool. Time Crisis 2. I'm not sure if it was 2 or 1 or what it was, but there's definitely Time Crisis with the huge screens. I remember playing that. It was really cool. Oh, this is a Marvel Capcom. This is after closure, and I was really sad that when they got in this place after close, they found this Marvel Capcom. It was kind of in rough shape. It was just sitting there. I don't know. It was sad. and these arcades, are these gray ones. They're just like what they did to have old titles. They didn't have the actual Centipede arcade. They had these like old clunky gray looking things, you know, and you could see they have like the arcade one-up plexiglass on them. and they would play the game on these you know, generic gray cabinets, and so that was cool. Oh, we had an eight player Daytona USA with the big huge screens. Like, this was a lot of fun, and I can't tell you how many evenings that after work we would play Daytona USA. And I think I passed it already. There was an X-Men Street Fighter cab. This is where I first played X-Men Street Fighter, X-Men vs. Street Fighter. I remember I was talking to one of the game techs, and he wanted me to play this game with him after we closed, and I just remember how in awe I was. It's like, oh my god, because I love Street Fighter 2. And I'm like, this is X-Men and Street Fighter, and this looks like cartoons? Like, this is great. And that was when I first played it. And after that, I found out, I did a lot of research online, because I had internet back then, and I found out there was Japanese versions for the Saturn, and I could play it at home, and that's how I got into the Versus series. And it was like that one. It was a big black cabinet, just at X-Men vs. Street Fighter. And I remember playing a bunch of people there, and I would, you know, eventually I started beating them all, and they all got mad. And not that I was any good when I got the arcade one-up, but like, man, I just remember beating them all, and maybe this is why I thought I was good, but when I, you know, got into this scene, I realized I really wasn't. It's just because my opponents were just very weak, you know. Oh, we had Hydro Thunder, like 1 or 2 of those. I remember that. We had the old school Sega Jurassic Park. Definitely remember that game. More of those gray, ugly things. Pinball area flippers. You know, it kind of walks into the arcade and the pinball at the same time. Oh, there we go. 8-player Daytona USA. I mean, that was a blast. And everybody that would get on those was drunk. You know, you wouldn't go to Block Party, the adult arcade, to not get drunk, you know? I mean, it's just what it was. And there's after closure. You can see they still had the skee ball there. This is actually from from the Block Party after closure from that Indie DDR website. And you could see, you know, quite a bit of skee ball, and that's how you'd get a lot of points. And I think that's it on these. Maybe skee ball is the end of it. Yep. All right. Number 6, the party room. Okay, so here's the party room, and you can tell this is after closure. The doors are removed. This party room was themed. You can see it in the back left here. You can see. Where it was is right next to the moving picture show and the restaurant. And let's see. Oh, that's the restaurant. But see, it was coral reef themed and very 90s, very coral reef. I don't know what they were thinking here. I mean, coral reef, like a water. And I remember coming back here several times. It was very dark. You can see here they got like this Aerosmith looking generic guy on the screen and people hanging out and partying. I didn't do private parties ever. I mean, I probably provided food for them because I worked in a restaurant too. I had a lot of jobs there. I did not mean to do that. I didn't know I could do that with my joystick. That's interesting to know I could do that with my joystick, my arcade stick. Anyway, so kind of ugly. I remember going back here several times with one of the managers, and you know, after work, and he'd bring out cans and pitchers of beer, and we'd all get drunk and then go play Daytona USA and NFL Blitz, and you know, just have a good time after work. And you know, I was 18 at the time, so I wasn't even of age. I remember driving home drunk. And I don't advise doing it. Okay, I don't drink at all now, and I think it's terrible to even do that. So don't get the wrong idea. But yes, when you're 18, you do stupid things, and that happened at the Block Party. You know, and I remember this room specifically for the after work hangouts. And there's the restaurant. I did, after I worked in as the Go Motion person for a while, I took a job in the restaurant. Like later on, I came back and worked at the restaurant after I left. And I did that because it was more money. I think it paid like $7.50 instead of $6 or something. I don't remember. You know, at the time, you're like, oh boy, I get more money to work in the restaurant. I had no restaurant experience whatsoever, and they gave me no restaurant training whatsoever. I remember one of the restaurant managers named Chris. He taught me how to empty the deep fat fryer, which is one of the grossest jobs I ever had in my life, actually, because you'd have to take this little cart on wheels and wheel it out to the back and then dump this oil. It was just, ugh. I did remember being taught that, but anyway, you know, flat top fryers, things like that. And then, you know, you're a kid, so you do stupid stuff like throw a hamburger in the fryer. You know, somebody ordered a Caesar salad. I had no idea how to make a Caesar salad. Nobody taught me, so I just kind of put some lettuce in there and dumped a bunch of Caesar dressing on it. But I remember Chris coming back and goes, you don't know how to make a Caesar salad? I'm like, no, I don't know how to make a Caesar salad. I mean, you guys hired me with no experience whatsoever and expect me to just know what's in a Caesar salad or what to cook. It wasn't like now where you just like Google stuff. Oh, Google how to make a you know, because you didn't have a phone on you. It was just different. And I remember like when I worked there on like Friday nights, like the waitress wouldn't show up, so I would have to be the waitress and the cook and everything, and I would go like. I would get beers for everybody, even though I was 18, because nobody else would do it. And I got all sorts of tips. I got good tips for getting people beer, but I totally illegal. Shouldn't have been doing that. I'm sure the management knew and didn't care. I mean, this is a lot of the reasons why this place failed, okay? Both one was owned by Blockbuster and then Discovery and then somebody else. Because they didn't know how to manage this place correctly or take inventory. I mean, everybody had free lunch there. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't a big secret, you know. We'd all make food and eat it at the Super Bloopers, you know. And it just poorly managed. They really should have paid attention. This is Virtua Alley, and I don't remember much about this because I didn't care about virtual reality then, because virtual reality in the 90s sucked. I mean, this is late 90s. This would have been like 98, 99, 2000. That this would have been a thing. So like this kind of stuff sucked back then. I wasn't into it. Just not my thing. So I think that's it. I'm gonna go back though. I want to talk about a few more things. Oh yeah, I know what I want to do. Back when I worked in the restaurant, I'll bring up the restaurant picture again. When I worked in the restaurant, I remember one of the game techs, he came back there when I was working, and he's like, let me show you a little secret. I'm like, what? And he puts his pizza pan in front of the camera back there, and he gets pictures of beer. And so we started having a chugging contest out of these pictures of beer. And after that, like, you know, we went and played Daytona. It was always Daytona. Daytona was always the game. It was like, had to be Daytona, you know, or NFL Blitz. X-Men versus Street Fighter. Those are the ones I remember playing the most here. Definitely, it was always a race to Daytona. Everybody loved that ride. And we didn't really go on the moving picture show or anything after close, but it was always the arcade games. And the tech would always just open it up or hand you the key. Like, we all knew how to do the tech stuff on the arcades because, you know, the tech people, they didn't care. They'd be like, here's a key. You just go open it up and you go inside, press the credit button. You're like, give yourself a lot. You know, now I'd be really into actually maintaining those arcades and be really picky about how they are, knowing what I know now. But at the time, you know, it was just fun. And, you know, really good time working here. Definitely for sure. And, it was in Clearwater crossing area of Indianapolis. It's torn down now. There's condos there now instead. If anybody from Indianapolis finds this video and has memories of Block Party, please comment down below. Tell me about your memories of Block Party, just so that I can hear them, because I really, honestly, legit would enjoy hearing your comments about it. If you didn't know about it and you want to comment on my video, something I brought up, or maybe some memories you had at the arcade or whatever, please do so. I have more arcade game, more video game content coming on the way. We're getting ready for Super Sunday Night Turbo, which is a live stream of Arcade 1-Up tournaments and matchups, please like, subscribe so you can get access to all this content and be reminded of when we release new videos, when we go live. I thank you very much. It's an honor and a privilege that you spend time watching my content, and I'll see ya in the next one. Peace.